Welcome to Koho, Living Spiritual Greatness. I am your host, Meiwengel, and I want to invite you on a journey to get to know and to be reminded of your spiritual greatness and how you can live it consciously so that you can create the life you desire. We are all spiritual beings here on earth to have a human experience, and when we focus on this, we are able to create paradise on earth. Come join me in this movement to make this world a better place by letting go of our fears, old patterns, attachments, and resistance. If you want to help shape this podcast, or if you just like my work and want to support it, become a patron of mine. You will have the possibility to ask questions that will be answered in the podcast or receive special coachings in a group or one-on-one setting. You will find the link to my Patreon page in the show notes. But for now, have fun with today's episode. Hello, my beautiful souls and starseeds out there. So grateful to be able to make another episode for you guys. I've asked a little bit around because I was seeing that one of the struggles a lot of the times, and especially in this time right now, is the one of letting go. But to be able to start with this topic, I think I have to start explaining what I mean by letting go, because that's where I see that sometimes we have a little resistance towards that. The thing is that throughout our lives, we tend to get, like feelings. We all have emotions and feelings. And when we have resentment or fear or pain of some sort, we keep it by ourselves and we hold on to it. And the thing is that we hold on to it because we're not taught to let it go. On one hand, but also on the other hand, because it's also some sort of, how do I put this? It's a strength that we get, right? Because it's like something that holds us. It's something that gives us structure because we've known it for so long. A lot of the times, like something happens in our childhood and we set it as something for, like some belief that we get into our lives, like I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not lovable. And just to give you a couple of sentences, like that can happen depending on the situations that we have as children. And we keep those beliefs hidden behind ourselves, and we keep them instead of letting them go, because as grown-ups, we're in completely different situations, but we don't know that because they've been giving us something to hold on to, right? And I always like to see that picture that it's like we're sitting at the edge of a tall building, and we're holding on to that building, and we know that we have to let go so that we can feel better, but we're so afraid that we're going to fall once we let go. And we're so afraid of doing that because not knowing that once we let go, we might learn to fly, right? And so this is the idea that sometimes we hold on to things. It can be resentment, it can be an old pattern, even fears that we have created for ourselves throughout time, because they're supposed to give us, sort of like they help us to do or not do certain things. So the idea is to start letting go of those things so that we can move on, so that we can stop carrying those weights, because they feel like weights at some point. And so that's why it's really good to let go of things, right? And like I said, a lot of the times we just don't do it because they've been giving us something to hold on to for so long, and we're afraid of, letting go of that has been, something that gives us structure. So I wanted to talk about today about why, like, what are the most important things to be able to let go. And it starts with acknowledgement. It starts with actually knowing what you want to let go. If it's a pattern, if it's a belief that you have, if it's a fear, if it's resentment that you have. and ask yourself, because like even forgiveness, you know, if you're resenting someone or something or a situation, it's not that you want to let go for the people or for others. It's you just want to let go for yourself. It's not that you're going to forget. It's just that you're just not going to have that anger inside of you anymore, or that resentment. So it's about that. So the first step is always acknowledging, being mindful that you have it. And if it's something that you've been trying to let go for so long, stop stressing yourself. That's the second very important point. Don't stress yourself. Don't put yourself under pressure that you have to do something. You don't have to do anything. A lot of the times, because we pressure ourselves to do something, especially in personal development, like if we pressure ourselves too much that we need to do something today and not tomorrow, that's what blocks us even more. So take that pressure away. Don't pressure yourself. You're going to let go when you're ready to let go. That's the second thing. And the third one is to actually decide that you want to do it. The thing is that it's always about the decision that we want to do it. It doesn't mean that you're going to let go right away, but by making the decision, you're setting your whole vibration in the direction of, okay, I want to let go of this. This is like the next topic I want to let go of. Just to give you an example, for me, it's been always fears. Like I've wanted to go through fears because I believe that fears are the biggest blocks we have to hold us back in our personal development and in anything that we do. And so for me, I took the decision that every year I want to take care of at least one fear. Sometimes it's become a pattern because I've noticed that some fears come from patterns or are connected to certain thought patterns that we have. But I try to like really get a hold of one of these each year. And just by making that decision, it doesn't mean that I know right away how I'm going to be able to let go, but just by making the decision, I'm conscious with this, I'm mindful with it, and I'm aware of it. So the thing is that because my vibration is set on we're letting this go, you're gonna have you're gonna start having experiences. You're gonna have talks with people. You're gonna have, you know, like you're gonna see that your whole vibration sort of guides you into the right direction, so that at some point you're gonna have the solution that you're gonna need. And I'm saying this because each one of us, and even depending on what you're trying to let go, it's different. Like every one of us lets go in a different way. I could give you a number of rituals you can do. There's so many things that you can do with the elements, with fire, with water, on how to practice letting go. There's ways of, I know that for some people, it's going for a jog. It's for some people, it's meditation. For some people, it's talking to someone. I remember that I used to offer to some of my clients like a release evening where they were like, we would just open up the space for them to just say anything that comes to their mind. And with that, it sort of like released a lot of things inside of them. So that's another thing that you could do. But like I said, there's so many different possibilities, and it always depends on what you want to let go and when you're ready. Because the thing is, like I said, it's the decision is very important, because if you're not ready and if you're not conscious that you want to let go, it's going to be very hard to really let go of something. So it's going to come back maybe in a couple of months, in a year. It's going to come back in a different form, but it's going to be similar or maybe even the same thing. Yeah, maybe also to give you a good example for this, I used to have this pattern that men only wanted to be with me to like have something beautiful to show off. And because I had that, I kept attracting men that were that way. So I needed to let go of this thinking, that, because I mean, come on, I was putting all men on one thing, right? So that, who am I to put them all in this one label, right? But it was also bad for me because I was labeling myself to just be nice arm candy, right? So, and I'm laughing about it now, but back then it was really, it was making me feel really bad. So I needed to change that. So I set out to look into that and how I was going to be able to do that. And it was different kinds of things of creating self-consciousness, yes, more self-awareness, self-love, giving myself the worth that I'm more than just eye candy. And then, it's different steps. And then at one point you just feel how it leaves your system. And then I started getting to know men in a completely different way. Like I would connect completely differently with men. And it was so beautiful for me to realize. And I'm so grateful for it because I was able to let go. So this is just to give you an example of how and what we can let go of, to help ourselves in different situations. And that's why I think it's so important to be able to let go. And just as a little bonus in the end, if you keep saying, I'm not very good at letting go, or I'm not very, like, if you tell yourself, I can't let go, that's what's going to happen. So change that in yourself, stop saying that, and allow yourself to say, or even change the sentence to just be, I'm learning to let go. And then maybe at some point when you're ready, just say, I can let go. Because even if at that point, at that moment, you're not ready yet, but you're already setting your vibration in that direction. Okay, so what are the important things to let go? Make yourself aware of what you want to let go. That's the main thing. Don't pressure yourself that you have to let go right away. And trust me, once you take that pressure away, you're going to be letting go really fast. And take the decision that you want to let go. Those are like the most important things. Because like I said, once you take the decision, it's going to help you roll out there. And as a little bonus, change that thinking inside of you that you can't let go. We all can. We're all able to do that, unless we keep telling us that we can, right? So I hope this was a nice help for you to go into letting go. If you want to have a deeper support, more help with these topics, like letting go of whatever blocks us, maybe even learn how to see better what is blocking you, what is holding you back of certain things, give me a call, send me a text message. I don't know if you're watching this through the podcast, send me an email to my accounts. You're going to find all the details in the show notes. If you are tuning in on my YouTube channel, you'll find all the links below. Send me a PM on Instagram or on Facebook. Send me a message. And let's have a talk. I'm here, I can coach you, and we can go through this together. And it might be a little bit faster than going on your own. So I'm looking forward to this. And I hope you liked today's inspiration. And I'm looking forward to the next thing that comes up here on the podcast on living spiritual greatness. Sending you a big mahalo. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah. Bye.